Miami!
To mission control, we have liftoff.
Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphin City! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphin Show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHale.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Phinhub Show, powered by BetUS. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. The Miami Dolphins, of course, are not playing this weekend, but there's still plenty to look out for. BetUS has tons of props, tons of things to bet on. We got the Bills playing the Jets on Monday Night Football. I'm definitely going to be betting on that game. Not sure which way I'm leaning yet. My heart wants to go with the Jets on this one, but I have a feeling that the Bills are going to take this. Either way, let's double up the fun with some bets on this game and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit on BetUS. Don't miss out on that, guys. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, the Miami Dolphins are not going to be playing this weekend, which is a bummer. But the good news is we're definitely not going to lose this weekend. In fact, one of our enemies in the AFC East is guaranteed a loss, which will help us out. We have the Bills and the Jets sitting at 2-3 and 3-2 respectively. One of them is going to be eating that L. I'm hoping that it's going to be the Bills just to even things up a little bit more for us in the AFC East. The AFC East in all is not looking as strong as it was coming into the season. As a matter of fact, most people looking ahead at the NFL saw the AFC East and saw that there could potentially be 3 Super Bowl contenders just in the AFC East alone. And now it's not looking like that's the case at all. Yeah. The Bills started off the seaseason very hot at 3-0, and they've dropped the last 2. Josh Allen has 2 concussions that are not called concussions, consecutive weeks, and the Bills' offense is looking pretty flat. I think the NFL has kind of figured out what they're doing with the ball now. Their receivers aren't really breaking away, so it's kind of they're more predictable at this point. You were telling me earlier that it looks like Cook might be out a little while, so that's some more news, some more context with the Bills. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets experiment. Robert Saleh just got fired. And that was super surprising so early on in the season. Nobody really saw that coming. Apparently no one in the Jets organization saw that coming. He had to be escorted out of the building. A lot of people were putting the blame on Aaron Rodgers, but even Aaron Rodgers now is saying that, it's his fault, not that he wanted it to happen, but if he would have played better, it wouldn't have happened. I don't know. Some conspiracies going on with them there. I don't have a good feeling about Aaron Rodgers, though. Either way, Jets do not look like the Super Bowl contender that everyone thought they would be, or a lot of people thought they would be coming into the season. And then you have the Miami Dolphins, of course. And I'm not talking about the Patriots because we all knew what the Patriots were going to be coming into the season. And the Dolphins, looking like the worst team in the NFL last week, were able to do away with them. But going back to the Dolphins now, we lose Tua in the second game of the season. He could still come back in Week 8 against the Cardinals at home. But either way, the Dolphins are not resembling anything of what they resembled last year, or what they looked like last year. And it's a shame. We were very excited for the offense in particular, and that's been, I think, the worst in the NFL at this point. We are averaging the least amount of points per game, and it's a bummer. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's okay, though. I think last year we had more so a scenario where we started off really hot, just like the Bills, but then we kind of cooled down because I feel like people had us figured out. And, what you were saying, too, I think the Bills are kind of getting figured out now. And it's kind of crazy to see that after Monday night, there is a scenario that in the AFC East, we're all tied in the loss column. Not every single team. We're just talking about the top 3, which is the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. So the outlook on this was like maybe a couple weeks back, blow it up. The season sucks. We're not going anywhere. But now there is a scenario where we're tied in the loss column after Monday Night Football. If the Jets can squeeze out a win, the Bills are on a 3-game skid, just like the Dolphins once were, right? In the first 4 games, we were 1-3, won our last game, so it puts us at 2-3. So there's a scenario we're still fighting for that first place spot in the AFC East when Tua comes back, and we might set the whole NFL on fire and just come back swinging, and Tua can light it up. I think right now it's a perfect opportunity to build up this run game, so just in time for Tua to come back and then kind of work more off of the run in the pass game, which I think is tremendous. I think now we're actually a two-headed monster rather than being this badass pass-first team. And now we can, go into those later stages in the year and actually win some hard games, with the running game. So I looked, the whole outlook was really bad in the beginning, but I think there is some light at the end of the tunnel. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, the Dolphins definitely have a chance to pull themselves out of this one. And the Bills were really what I thought they were going to start running away with this, but they didn't. It's been the opposite.
And there's some controversy over there. There's some stuff going down, like Josh Allen with the concussion issues. A lot of people are over McDermott. They don't think he's running the team well enough. So there is a scenario where this thing implodes as well. I think right now it looks like the whole AFC East is imploding. You got the Dolphins that haven't looked great, but we did squeeze out a win, so that's some positive news. I believe for the last 2 weeks, has it been the whole AFC East has been losing except for the Dolphins?
Yeah, so in the last 2 weeks,
we lost the first week, the whole AFC East lost, right?
Yeah, and then last week, everyone in the AFC
except
East
for the
Dolphins won.
So that Titans game was huge, man. That would have been a huge opportunity to come up, but I mean, it's in the past. We're looking like probably the most dysfunctional division in the whole NFL right now.
The AFC East is doomed. The last 2 weeks, the Bills look absolutely terrible. The Jets are a complete joke. The Miami Dolphins lose Tua, and we don't know if he's coming back at all. And the Patriots are absolute trash. There's a chance where the Miami Dolphins really focus on the run, get the run game going, and by the time Tua comes back, they're actually even with the Bills or the Jets or both. And we can take off with Tua, get the passing game going, feed off of the run game, and make a deep playoff push. It's not crazy to say the Miami Dolphins could take over the AFC East when it's all said and done this season.
Not to mention, when Tua comes back, there's an opportunity to take it from the Bills. Because as soon as he comes back, it's the Cardinals and the Bills. If he wins that game against the Bills, maybe that's a scenario where we take lead in the AFC East. So getting back to the Bills, you see here with this Josh Allen stuff with the concussions. I mean, it doesn't look great. If I were the Bills, I would consider possibly sitting him against the Jets, because if he takes another hit, it could be more or less like a Tua situation that it might be a little bit more career threatening rather than just being another concussion. But I mean, you look at their team right now as far as the imploding portion. Their running backs hurt with turf toe. We're not sure exactly when he'll be back or if he's going to play at all on Monday. But I mean, that's a really hard injury to determine when someone can come back. It could be like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you know what I'm saying? So it's all depending there. But then they also have the situation with Von Miller, being suspended for 4 games. He's a pretty big part of their defense right now. And they can't get over these losses in Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer. Now you're going to take out Von Miller, a really essential part of your defense. That might be all the difference in the world for them on defense as well. So, I mean, there's a scenario where the Bills just don't have the juice anymore. And I see that happening right now.
Yeah, and the Jets look terrible. That offense is trash. Aaron Rodgers is washed. We saw him miss on a few throws last week. And I think it's about time Robert Saleh was fired. I think it's been coming the last few seasons. I think he was able to hold on to, but I got Zach Wilson. What do you expect? Look, you got Aaron Rodgers. Might be old man Aaron Rodgers, but still, you couldn't do anything with the offense. The Jets don't look like a good team. So even more power to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins in their own right, though, not to talk them up, they have a lot of problems going on with that team too. We're just saying if there's a time to take advantage of the AFC East, it would be this time. Yeah. It would be right now where you can focus on that run game a little bit more, really get that part of the offense going, and hopefully by the time Tua gets back, he can lean on that a little bit, maybe use that to kick some of the rust off and get the pass game going again. And I know Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are just probably dying for Tua to come back. Fantasy owners must be going nuts with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So, and I think the only way you really look at Tyreek Hill and say he's fantasy relevant at this point is if he does get traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, which is another the shitty Chiefs, yeah. Another crazy rumor for the that's happening right now. I don't buy into it. I think Tyreek Hill is trolling everybody. Although, where there is smoke, there is fire. I'm not saying that Tyreek Hill would completely say, like, there's no way I would join the Chiefs. Because why not? You get Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback back. They're the best team in the NFL right now. Even when Patrick Mahomes isn't having a great season, they're still undefeated. So I think Tyreek Hill would be crazy to deny or to not want to be traded 100% to the Chiefs.
I don't think he'd be crazy.
I think if he is saying with 100% certainty he does not want to go back to the Chiefs, that he's lying. I think there's a part of him that says, hey, that would be interesting.
But then the other part is staying with Tua, staying in Miami, help building what he's built throughout these last couple of years. He felt like he was playing not even second fiddle, third fiddle in that offense. It was just Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and he was just, Tyreek Hill's pretty nice, right? But getting back to Tyreek Hill, I think now with Tua coming back, there has been plenty of opportunities for him in these games, but we haven't had the proper quarterback play. Actually, I would actually argue that if Tua was back in these games, there's a lot of throws that Tyler Huntley's missing, and those throws are routine for Tua.
Right.
He was doing this all of last year, all of the year before, getting the ball to Tyreek Hill in perfect stride, perfect opportunities. Him and Tyreek Hill on the field are one. They know exactly where one has to be and where to put the ball. And I would argue our offense is a lot better than we've shown these last couple of weeks just because of that quarterback play. And I know that's the obvious thing, but we have seen time and time again so many missed opportunities with Tyreek Hill down the field. Like he's got to step on the guy, 2 steps, 3 steps, whatever the case may be, and Tua will get that ball right there. So our offense is definitely better than what it's shown. And I think working off of this run game, like I've said before, adding Tua in there now, we can go back to being that elite offense that we were last year and the year before.
Yeah, and I would say there's a possibility for it to even be better than it was last year because now we do have that true number 3 wide receiver. Odell Beckham also must be super excited to have Tua back.
That's crazy.
So Odell Beckham's right there as that number 3 receiver. And Jalen Wright, I really, really like him as a running back.
He's the true running back on this team, right? Like, he is a complete back.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert, great back as well. I think Achane needs to be worked in more so as, a receiving back / you kind of get him the ball here and there so he can run with it. But, man, Jalen Wright, I think he's the future at running back.
He's a stud. He really, really is. And I'm very impressed with him. If they can get that part of the offense really just going, then hopefully it'll take some of that pressure off of Tua and the offense. And it's a recipe for winning football games, especially late in the year, because that was another problem too. We're not that tough physical team. And later on in the year, when it gets cold, you need your running backs to really step it up.
Yeah.
And I think Jalen Wright could be that guy for the Miami Dolphins.
And I saw this last game, a little bit more nastiness from the offensive line, including Rob Jones and Liam Eichenberg. They've been complete disappointments this year, but last game, I know it's against the Patriots, one of the worst teams. But you saw a little something different in them. And you saw Ingold. He was actually taking the lead. I felt like he was the one, all right, like, I'm going to get these guys pumped. I'm going to get nasty on these blocks. He's, like, blocking people downfield, putting them on their backs. And I think all it takes is one guy to motivate a whole group of guys, right? I feel like we haven't had that in the past, but we had it in different, parts of our team right now, not coming from the quarterback because, Tyler Huntley just got here, trying to get comfortable. But now we have it from Ingold. We have it from Teron Armstead. Rob Jones, it looks like he had the best game of his season so far last game. Can it translate? Can it continue to progress? Can we weather this storm until Isaiah Wynn comes back? There's a lot of things to be optimistic about, including what you said about Odell Beckham coming back. I see Tua coming back. They already have chemistry off the field. Maybe it can just be one of those instant connections, and we can just hit the ground running as soon as he comes back.
Yeah, plenty of reason to be optimistic. Also, we have to be realistic. The Miami Dolphins aren't a great team. Then again, neither is the AFC East a strong division. So plenty of reasons still left for us to be not as amazing as we were last year and still be able to come out on top of this division. But either way, let's see what happens. This week will be big with the Bills facing the Jets on Monday Night Football. If you guys haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and place those bets on the game. Let's make some money. Use code YouTube150 for 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. That's YouTube150. But that's going to do it for today, guys. If you haven't already, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to us, and we'll catch you in the next one. Fins up.